Most people associate Kim Kardashian with reality TV arguments and paparazzi flashes. But the underlying reality is a $1.9 billion net worth, anchored by a brand valuation of $5 billion. She operates as a consumer private equity firm that happens to occasionally wear makeup on camera. Her career trajectory moved from organizing Paris Hilton's closet and surviving a leaked scandal in 2007 to securing multi-billion-dollar valuations from Goldman Sachs. This transformation relied on a calculated, decade-long march up the capitalization table, shifting from zero ownership to total equity control. During her early years on the E! Network, she essentially leased primetime. While the show provided hundreds of hours of character development, outside corporations paid for production, controlled the syndication, and owned the distribution rails. The show functioned as her flagship store, a cultural anchor that established permanent relevance in the minds of consumers, regardless of the direct profit on the show's books. She initially monetized this relevance through physical retail boutiques called Dash, and by licensing her name to perfumes and diet pills. This licensing model has an inherent economic flaw. The upside is capped by the parent company. Collecting a royalty check ensures you never own the full value of the brand's growth. We can see the limits of this model in the 2010 failure of her prepaid debit card. The product's high fees were viewed as predatory by regulators and parents, which instantly severed the connection of trust between the brand and the audience. Her audience tolerates heavy commercialization, but products that mathematically exploit a fan base destroy the parasocial trust required for the entire system to function. She pivoted to building leverage by using a mobile game and emoji app as cheap, live data experiments to track exactly how and where her audience would spend money. The hundreds of millions in revenue from these apps provided the hard data investors needed to prove her reach carried massive transaction value. That proof underwrote the launch of SKIMS. By 2019, she controlled the pricing, the margins, and the equity of her own direct-to-consumer brand. Institutional validation followed as she secured deals with the NBA, the WNBA, and a joint activewear line with Nike. This chart highlights equity leverage. When Goldman Sachs led a funding round increasing SKIMS' valuation by $1 billion, her 35% stake grew by $350 million. A single valuation jump moves more wealth than a career of television checks, which become pocket change. Proving audience conversion through cheap digital apps was the necessary step to securing a multi-billion-dollar apparel valuation. Her engine is a closed loop. Rented media rails keep her in the culture, building trust with millions of followers. She funnels this into owned brands, driving massive, low-cost sales. These sales justify multi-billion-dollar valuations, generating headlines that feed back into media, completing the loop. The system still faces risks, primarily demographic drift. Her original audience is aging, and newer generations may not share the same decade-long loyalty. Public market sentiment can also shift. If investors sour on direct-to-consumer businesses, her paper net worth could drop by hundreds of millions, even if the brands remain profitable. Most creators fail to replicate this because they try to launch a product before building the underlying multi-year relationship. Success in the creator economy requires using rented attention as a tool to steadily climb the ladder toward owning your own equity.